So I've tested a lot of lenses this past year. Because of this YouTube channel that I have, I am constantly trying out lenses. Some new to the market, some's been around for a minute. And since 2022 is coming to an end, I thought I'd share with you guys my top lenses that I've tried in 2022. This list is totally subjective. There are lenses I haven't tried. So if you're wondering why your lens didn't make it on this list, it's probably because I didn't try it. So this is going to be a totally subjective thing, but in this list, I just have two requirements. Did it help me take good photos? And the other thing is, did this lens get me excited when I go out and shoot? Did it make me feel happy using this lens? Did I catch a vibe with this lens? Did me and this lens sort of do this kind of song and dance, you know? We're flirting with each other, you know what I'm saying? I flirt with the lens flirt back with me, and then, you know, we just lock eyes and then consummate our love. I don't know. Those are the only criterias that I have. I think shooting with something that can make you feel happy and get you excited will allow you to grow an attachment with that kind of lens. I want to share with you guys my favorite Fujifilm X-mount lenses for 2022. Let's go. Starting in at number 5, the Argus 25mm f/0.95. So this one just creeped out of nowhere for me. When Laowa sent me a copy for me to review, I didn't think anything of it. I remember the Argus 33mm f/0.95 being such a wonderful lens, but having tried other third-party lenses with softness issues afterwards, it kind of left a sour taste in my mouth for the third-party manual focusing lenses. And honestly, I didn't think the 25mm Argus was going to impress me that much at all. But I was wrong. I love the images coming out of this lens, and it's been some time since I reviewed the Argus 33mm f/0.95 to this point. And as soon as I shot with it, all the same old feelings I had about the Argus 33mm came back with this lens right here. The bokeh is dreamy, it's sharp enough wide open. I'm not expecting it to be insanely sharp wide open, but it's sharper at f/0.95 than other third-party lenses at f/1.4, which is crazy if you think about it. And also, in a world where everybody is hopping onto the 35mm f/0.95 trend, you got the Mitacon, you got the 7 Artisans, you got the Laowas, and I hear TT Artisan just recently made a 35mm f/0.95. I heard Mikey, M-E-I-K-E, they also released one as well. So I just find that focal length to be so boring at this point. So I appreciate the fact that Laowa took a risk and tried something a little bit different with their Argus line, and that is to make a fast wide lens in this 25mm focal length. 25mm is a full frame equivalent to a 35mm, which has become my second favorite focal length to shoot at. Probably close to taking the #1 spot, because like some of the shots I've been taking with this focal length is just crazy, man. I'm just having fun experimenting with this focal length, and I'm enjoying that process again. I also love the design and build as well. This one being built better than the 33mm f/0.95 Argus right here. The 25mm Argus has an aperture ring. It also has a click and declick feature that wasn't in on the 33mm Argus. So you have the option to turn this feature on and off, which is great because I like feeling the tactile feedback to let me know that I've switched aperture. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed the time I had with it over the summer. I love taking the 25mm Argus lens around as a documentation lens and as a portrait lens. I'm not gonna lie though, it's a pretty chunky lens. It's a chunky boy, but it feels balanced when I put it on my Fujifilm X-H2S. And I love the images that I'm getting. The bokeh is awesome. It sort of gives me a full frame medium format pop and look, which is great. I know this lens came out not too long ago, but I highly recommend you guys check this lens out for yourself to see it for yourself. And that is why this lens is number 5 in my top 5 favorite Fujifilm lens for 2022. I cannot say enough good things about this lens. It's just been a joy to use. Let's move on to number 4, the XF 18 to 120mm f4 power zoom. And the reason why it's here is because I use this lens mainly for video and whenever I go travel. Now, it's not the sharpest lens out there. I'm telling you, it's not sharp at all. My 33mm f1.4 wide open is sharper than this lens stopped down around like f8 to f9, but that's okay though. That's okay because you don't want a sharp lens for video. Again, this is a video-centric lens, right? People have complained about the footage looking too sharp for their liking, so I find that this lens does not add to that sharpness at all. So you guys have to pick a side here. You guys got one group of folks complaining that the video is too sharp, and then when Fujifilm makes a video-centric lens, you have the other guys complain that it's not as sharp as other Fujifilm lenses out there. Like, what the hell's going on, guys? You can't have it both ways. I'm okay with this lens being not as sharp as the other Fujifilm lenses out there. I do like the versatility of this lens, being that it goes from a wide 18mm all the way to 120. All I need is this one lens when I'm travel and I'm just good to go. This lens covers all the range, which I appreciate. I've been traveling around in Portugal a lot. I've been taking in the sights. When I'm farther away, I can just zoom in, like really zoom in at 120 and get like a decent shot of like a castle or like old architecture that is around here in Portugal. So I've been wanting a lens like this for a while now with the Fujifilm system. There are other lenses I've considered, like the 16 to 80mm f4, but I just thought since I'm living in Europe now and I would be doing some traveling, I would need to get something longer. Pause. There is also the 70 to 300mm lens. I consider that as well, but it doesn't cover the wide end. And then you got the f2.8 lenses, the 16 to 55mm, and also the 50 to 140mm. Both are great lenses, but I've shot with them already and I know what they're capable of. And again, those are really much photography centric lenses. I love the video footage I get with this lens. Paired this with the Fujifilm X-H2S and I find that it's a great combo. I love the look I get out of it. It feels organic and I've been shooting a lot of my B-rolls with it. Overall, I just really enjoyed the footage that I've been getting with this lens. So this is why I'm putting this in my top lenses. The top lenses I've used. We finally have a decent lens for video, and I didn't like it when people are complaining that it's not sharp. Guys, we have plenty of sharp lenses from Fujifilm. Just pick the other ones. What we don't have enough of is a video-centric lens, and that's why I appreciate Fujifilm for coming out with this lens. I don't want it to be sharp. The video footage looks amazing. It looks good in my eyes. The autofocusing on this lens works well with the X-H2S and it's been super reliable and I've been getting like great footage with this combo. And if you need it for photos, it takes some decent photos, but just know you're not going to get the sharpest results and I'm okay with that. And I forgot the zooming is internal. So if you want to put this on a gimbal, you don't need to rebalance it when you change focal length. So all these features leads this to being a more video-centric lens. And if you bought this lens intended for photo, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're not getting what you want out of it. It's just great to have just one lens to film everything at all different focal lengths and get a variety of shots, from like establishing shots to close-ups to extreme close-ups. It can do pretty much everything. Number 3 is the 90mm f2. I gotta put my 90mm f2 up here. It's still a great lens. Every time I shoot with it, I'm just amazed by the image quality I get from it. The 90mm f2 is sharp wide open, so you don't need to stop it down any further if you don't want to. The bokeh is beautiful. This is one of the best lenses you can get for the Fujifilm X mount in terms of image quality. If you have room and space to operate, because this is a 90mm focal length, it's quite a tight focal length. But I will promise you, if you have that room and space to operate, I will promise you that you're going to get great images that you're going to be proud of. I love this lens so much, and I deem this lens the cinematic lens. It has the right compression, and the look and feel you get from this lens is just next level. I recommend you guys renting this lens out and trying it for yourself before you buy it, because of how niche this focal length is. It's not something that you take out all the time, but when you do, chef's kiss. It's so good. It's so freaking good. Guys, you have no idea how good it is. No idea. Just try it out for yourself. Moving on to number 2. Now, as you probably know, this is my favorite focal length and my favorite lens for portraits. I've been saying it all the time. I've made a couple of videos saying how much I love this lens for its image quality and its reliability. The autofocusing paired with the new generation cameras is reliable. I get more keepers than I do throwaways. With the 33mm, I get reliable autofocusing. It's quick and snappy, and it also gives that weather resistant. That gives me a peace of mind, because I can shoot in not so great conditions, and I want to know that I can use my gear without having to baby it or shield it from the weather. The bokeh looks good. It's a mesh of old school meets new school when it comes to image quality. And when it comes to image quality, you're not going to get the characteristics of the XF 35mm f1.4, which is fine, because the trade-off that I get out of this outweighs that 35mm f1.4 magic. The image quality is just as good, it's much sharper than the 35, and according to the Fujifilm's official list of lenses that will perform well with the new 40 megapixel sensor, the 35mm f1.4 isn't on that list. So if you're planning on getting the 33mm f1.4, it's going to future-proof you for the future cameras that are coming out. So overall, this lens is my favorite lens that I own right now. Every time I put this lens on the cameras, I just know that I'm going to get something good out of it. But why is it not number one? That's because the number one spot goes to the XF 23mm f1.4 WR. I know this lens really did capture my heart when I reviewed it. The short amount of time I had with it, I got some amazing portraits with it. I got some freaking bangers with it, son. I definitely got excited for it, man. Like just jumping out of my seat screaming when my team, the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi hit that shot over the Phillies 76er in the very last second of the Game 7 series. And that's how much I got excited for when I was reviewing my images taken with the 23mm f1.4. It really made me wonder if I got the right decision in getting the 33mm over the 23mm. I'm still debating whether or not I should pick one up for myself because I'm still thinking about that lens, man. Every time I post an image, I always talk highly about that lens. You can see it in my community post if you scroll down of all the shots I took with it. I just have nothing bad to say about that lens, man. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm probably gonna pick one up in the future just to add to the collection. This lens is so sharp wide open, and the close focusing distance kind of makes this lens a much more versatile lens for me than the 33mm f1.4. I feel as though I can get close enough to get a portrait without having the face and head distorted, and it's wide enough to get the background in the frame for the context. It also has the LM linear motors inside for that quick and smooth autofocusing, and this is why it's so hard to decide whether or not this lens or the 33mm f1.4 deserves to be on my number one spot. I think the reason why this became my number one instead of the 33mm f1.4 is because of that Laowa Argus 25mm f0.95 lens. I'm starting to realize that I may have a thing for a 35mm full frame equivalent focal length. I just love shooting with this focal length so much, and the amount of times I get excited when I review my photos is just freaking crazy, man. I keep going, whoa! Wow, holy shit. The way that the 25mm Argus made me feel and got me excited about my images is the same feeling that I get with the 23mm f1.4 WR lens. I also think the fact that I reviewed and tested out other 35mm focal length lenses out there has left me kind of numb to the shots that I get with it as well. Testing out so many 35mm variety kind of like left all the mystery out for me at this point. It's still good, it's still reliable, but you know, I don't know. It's just, what's the word? It's not as exciting anymore. Like I said, my favorite focal length is the 35mm or the 50 full frame equivalent, the nifty 50. I shot with so many over the years. I shot with the Mitacon 35mm f0.95. I shot with the 7 Artisans 35mm f0.95. I shot with the 7 Artisans 35mm f1.2. I shot with the Fujifilm XF 35mm f1.4. I shot with the Laowa Argus 33mm f0.95, and now the XF 33mm f1.4, just to name a couple. Because of that, I just know what I'm expecting, and I know I can get great shots, but it doesn't get me as excited as the 23mm lens. And that's why this lens is my number one lens for 2022. It's just an amazing lens, man. Do you guys think the new 23mm f1.4 lens is the best lens out there? I have a feeling that it is. I don't know about you guys. Do let me know in the comments section below. On this channel, I feel like I don't talk about the 23mm f1.4 enough, and I just want to know your thoughts. Let me know what you think of the 23. And if you're interested in any of the lens in this video, I'm going to leave the links to it down in the description below. So did this list surprise you at all? So my question to you is, what is your top 5 Fujifilm X-mount lenses that you used in 2022? There are no wrong answers. Just give me reasons why you like them, and how did these lenses make you feel when you were shooting with them? Did it get you excited like how I got excited for these lenses? So yeah, just let me know. I wonder if this list is going to change much by next year. Will there be a new number one? Let me know down in the comment section below, and if you did find this video helpful, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate that. We're heading into the holidays and the New Year's, guys, so I just want to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Stay safe, stay warm, and hey, save some of that eggnogs for me, okay? And as always, my name is Tongue. I'll see you in the next video. I love you.